Hello mga lovies! Good afternoon! Welcome again to Going Live with Shelly Lazaro Express. So,
Hello mga lovies. Good
oh, sorry about
afternoon.
that.
Welcome.
Let me remove the volume of my iPad. So, hello, thank you for joining me again. So, this is the ECQ special edition. This is the extension of my regular TV program on Net 25, which is airing very soon. It's going to be every Saturday at 10 a.m. It's a lifestyle, entertainment, and advocacy talk show. So, please watch out for that. As soon as we're given the go signal, as soon as it's already safe to do tapings and production, then we're gonna do that. And we'll make sure to like and follow all our social media pages so you'll get notifications and updates. Okay, so we're doing this for the duration of the lockdown period, the ECQ. We're gonna keep you company every day at 4 p.m. until April 30. We don't know yet if the ECQ will be lifted already, so we'll see. But we have guests na line up until April 30, so please join us every day. This afternoon is another special show. I invited another fellow Rotarian. He is the president and CEO of the Manila Times, the country's oldest English language newspaper. He is Dante Ang, but everyone calls him Klink. Hi, Klink.
Hi,
Hello?
Shelly. Hi, can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show, and congratulations on your program.
Hi. Thanks for joining us. So we'll ano also ha. So this is an express edition, but we want to have you on the in the studio for
Sure.
for the full episode ha. We'll do a full feature on the Manila Times. We are now live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Net25, and Eagle Broadcasting Media channels. Okay, so how are you, Klink?
Well, as well as can be expected, I think what I'm experiencing is similar to everybody else's experience right now. No. Locked up, but trying to do the best we can to keep things going, especially the newspaper.
Klink, you are past president of Rotary Club of Makati North. Do you have mga activities ba now in Rotary
Oh yeah,
during the ECQ stop also?
we're fortunate that we have a very active and devoted Rotarians at our club. In fact, our president, Archie Riaño, has been continuing with virtual meetings, which is, I think, quite innovative and something you'd expect from a young techie.
Uh-huh. He's my classmate president. Oh,
Yes,
Klink,
yeah.
you say hi. We have mga Rotarians na watching. Say hi. Say hi to all our
Well,
Rotarian viewers.
hello, everybody. Keep safe. Stay
So our
home.
beloved Klink Ang is here. So please join us, ha. Don't sign out. This is going to be a very interesting discussion. So, Klink, tell us because I have no idea. Why Klink? You're Dante Ang, but why do we
Oh,
call you Klink Ang? What's the story behind your nickname?
well, I don't think you have enough time on your program for that. Pero I think the short version is my dad was a fan of Hogan's Heroes, and there's a character there named Colonel Klink. So that was his favorite show.
Oh,
Yeah, regrettably, Colonel Klink
okay.
was the contrabida on that show. So, but I guess he liked the character.
So that explains.
Yeah.
But Klink, so ano, kahit na you're ano ba, Klink parang you were a baby, Klink ka na, ganyan?
Well, no, actually, I never used. Klink was reserved for close family, especially when I was a child.
Okay.
But
All right.
I went abroad. I worked there for several years. But when I came back, I worked for the family business, and my dad's also Dante Ang. So it was a bit confusing to have two Dante Angs in the office.
Oo, so that's why you took na the ano, the Klink name para only
Yeah,
one Dante
I
ang.
revived it. Yeah.
So, Klink, before we start more serious discussion on mga what's happening now with regard to the COVID situation, let's play a short game lang. This is easy lang. It's not really a game
Game.
game.
Okay.
We call it this or that.
All right.
So I'm gonna be I will be giving you options, two options, and then you're just gonna choose one very quickly, as fast as you
Okay.
can, you answer, and then you have no chance to defend your answer. Just say
Okay.
your option
Wow,
without
this is going to be
without
embarrassing. Okay.
explanation.
All right.
Okay. Start. Print or digital?
Digital.
Phone or computer?
Computer.
Old or new?
New.
English or Filipino?
Yeah. English.
Website or social media? The
Web.
traditional website or okay. Sports or politics?
Sports. More interesting.
Public or private?
Private.
Cash or food?
Cash.
Okay. Prime time or late night?
Late night.
Ito last na. Mocha or vanilla?
Ah. Vanilla. I had to think about that one.
Okay. You go figure why we asked you that. But
Okay.
anyway, okay. So, Click, let's talk about the Manila Times. How
Sure.
old, correct ba ako na Manila Times, is it the oldest newspaper or just the oldest English language newspaper?
It's the oldest running newspaper. It was founded in 1898. So
Oh.
and actually, the second oldest is the Bulletin. But we're about 2 years older than they are. So
So, this is your 122nd year.
yes, in
Correct
October.
ba? Tama yung
Yeah.
math. Oh, okay. So, happy anniversary. Malapit na.
Thank,
Ah,
thank you.
how many offices do you maintain, Klink?
Uh,
Including your mga parang warehouses or print
well,
shops.
we have one editorial news center, which is in Intramuros,
Okay.
and then our printing plant is in the port area, so not too far away. Tapos we maintain several stringers and contributors nationwide, but the central office is in Manila.
All right. How many employees do you maintain?
Not so many, about 150 full time, and then we have
Okay.
freelance contributors and mga correspondents who are not full time employees.
So Klink now, because of the ECQ, for sure, nagbawas din. No? How many ilang percentage yung working from home now and those na wala, you had to ask them talaga not to work muna?
Well, it was a very tricky situation. So what we did was first try to identify who would be most vulnerable or who's most susceptible to COVID. So those people who
Okay.
were 65 and older or had pre-existing conditions, we made them work from home. And
Okay.
then we decided, among those who are left, who can come in and who can, you know, work from home or do other things
All
for
right.
the paper. So we decided to look at the health considerations first and then figure out how we can do the day-to-day coverage based on who's left.
But you give for sure you give assistance to all employees whether or not they're working, no?
Yeah,
To help
they
them get
so
by during this, yeah.
so far, we're lucky that we've been able to make payroll, but it's getting harder and harder as the quarantine gets longer or extended. But hopefully this will be over soon.
Okay, yeah, everyone hopes that. Pero Klink, right now, your work for the Manila Times, you are the president and CEO. Your dad is the chairman, so you report to your dad.
I report to my dad. Yeah.
But what are your mga specific duties and responsibilities? We want to know what's your day like when you're working.
Well,
before ECQ.
I don't think it's very interesting. Well, basically, my responsibilities include the day-to-day operations of the paper. So my
Okay.
dad is pretty much semi-retired. He has his other projects particularly the Manila Times TV, which is trying to generate video content on another
Okay.
platform.
All right.
He works on special projects, but the day-to-day business of the paper is really left to a team that I'm fortunate to be very professional and dedicated. They help me out.
But you're very workaholic, no? Before this ECQ thing, you were reporting every day ba to the office. You go to work every day.
I tried, I started taking weekends off. Pero I used to, when
Okay.
I was much younger, I used to come in 7 days a week. Pero, yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Walang social life or singit. Social life is singit na lang, 'di ba? Before.
well,
But you
there's
still
always a
get to
way.
do your you still get to naman play golf, right? Do your social civic thing. So, Klink, what's the effect of this ECQ to your business? Like
Well,
in terms of sales,
yeah, it's been rough. I mean, I think it's not so different from other businesses. We don't have or we have very little revenue coming in because there's no offices are open to for us to
right.
visit or make pitches to. But we have to keep certain costs going because we have to
Mm-hmm.
continue delivering the news to people, especially in a crisis like this. Information becomes very valuable to the public.
So you're like now your operation like do you still have print or
We do
wala?
have
There's no
print.
way to
We
oo.
do have print, except that we're not able to deliver to Visayas and Mindanao because there are no flights going there from Manila at the moment. Um, and then there's been a lot of restrictions with movements in Luzon. So essentially, for the print, we're delivering
Yeah.
in from Manila. But fortunately, we have other platforms where we can get news out to people. We have the website, of course. We have our social media platforms, and then fortunately, we had been working on a digital edition that we had been preparing for a rollout. So that was ready, when the quarantine was announced.
So your newspaper printed, where can I buy it? Where can we buy it?
Right now,
Now.
yeah, of course, there's very very few people out on the streets, pero 7-Eleven stores are open, and then some
Okay.
mini
All
stops are open. So unless you have a subscription, um, those are probably the only two places where you can get one now. But we've been
Yeah.
trying to encourage people to sign up for the digital edition, which is an exact replica of the paper. So they can get that on their mobile phones and then access also it on their laptops and other gadgets. It's an exact replica, so it's a good alternative, when you can't go out these days.
It's talaga during this ECQ, it's important for companies, especially for mga publishing companies to have a strong digital platform, no? But you've been
Yeah,
doing this prior to ECQ, no? You've developed a strong digital platform even before.
yeah. The transition has been going on for at least 10 years, but
Yeah.
the problem is trying to figure out what business model we adapt, in the
Mm-hmm.
digital age. Because right now our income mostly comes from print. The digital revenue is still very small. It's not ripe yet.
All right. Okay. So how much ang Manila Times newspaper?
Well, it's the print issue is 20 pesos, which is the same price
20.
as, yeah, it's the same price as I think just about every broadsheet in Metro Manila.
All right. But
And
when
but
we download,
the digital edition it comes out to 2 pesos a day, so
okay.
it's a much better bargain, especially for people who are more um, I guess more welcoming to reading the news on screens rather than
Right.
having print in their hand.
Okay. So they just have to go to your website and download the digital version.
Yeah, they can go to
Or
the website.
okay.
There's a link there for the digital edition.
Okay. Klink, I want to talk to you about print media versus eto na nga yung digital media. Because of that
Sure.
also, there are so many parang there are so many bloggers na out there. Parang
Yeah.
everyone I know is, 'di ba, blogging. So,
Yeah.
difference between a journalist and a blogger
Well,
for you.
yeah. Well, the journalist basically follows certain disciplines, just like an engineer would or a physician would. And the discipline has to do with gathering information, verifying that information, and then disseminating it to a large audience.
Yeah.
A blogger doesn't have that discipline. So a blogger would be more of a commentator. Well,
Okay.
I don't want to talk down to them, but maybe a talking head, right? But
Yes.
they express their views or maybe some points of view based on their background or areas of expertise. Whereas a
Right.
newspaper is like a central depot of information that people can access, whether it be for politics or for
Uh-huh.
sports or lifestyle or whatever else.
And kasi nga it's not regulated, no? Would
Well,
you like propose of, yeah.
right now it's a free for all. Pero I'm
Yeah.
not worried. I mean, I'm always afraid when the government starts regulating speech, whether it's regulating traditional media or regulating individual bloggers or influencers. I think government should try to be as open as possible to
Okay.
allowing people and just let the market forces prevail na lang on which efforts will be patronized by people.
Yeah. So status quo, it's okay. Than
I
government regulating it. Yeah.
we're perfectly fine with the status quo. We're perfectly fine with competing, and I am confident that newspapers in the end will prevail. In fact, there was an interesting article in the New York Times a few weeks ago how the
Uh-huh.
former president of BuzzFeed had tried to recruit his friend who's president now of the New York Times, but it turns out that guy has quit BuzzFeed and will now write a column for the New York Times. So this is what gives me a little confidence, and that is that
Okay.
newspapers or traditional media, I think, can do a much better job in getting the news out to people than individual or alternative sources of information.
Right, right. Klink, fake news.
Hmm.
That's been a big problem talaga. How do you spot fake news? 'Di ba yung
Well,
ongoing fight talaga against fake news?
well, yeah. What I think it's not that easy. Because when I refer to fake news, I'm talking about something that is deliberate. It's much more sinister than something than an ordinary mistake or something like that a journalist could commit given the tight deadlines. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very serious, especially during this COVID pandemic. There's been a lot of information circulating out there that is either just false or is just could be dangerous if they are actually listened to by some people.
So, Klink, can you guarantee that whatever they will be reading sa Manila Times, no fake news at all? Or kasi 'di ba especially now, so many things are happening. Some 'di ba, we have mga late night news pa like that. So baka mamaya in a hurry or still kahit na rush na the submission of articles and everything, do you still guarantee
Well,
yung fact-finding measures? Yeah.
I think the only thing that we can guarantee, and I could probably speak, for my colleagues in the other publications and other news organizations, the only things that we
Yeah.
can guarantee is to follow certain professional standards that are not the practice of individual bloggers. And you have to understand the history of fake news. One, it's not new. It's been around for a long time.
Okay.
Over the
Yes.
years, it's been known as yellow journalism or sensational journalism. But really, the essence is the same, which is a deliberate act by someone or some group to mislead or sway public opinion to one side or the other. But I think to the credit of traditional media organizations, whether they be print or TV, we try to follow certain disciplines you know, um, to first, report the facts as we see it, and then check whether those are correct. And then if we do make mistakes, to be professional enough to admit them and then report what's right. And this is, of course, not the standard for a blogger or for an influencer. Um, but it is global standard for all journalists, whether you're in print or in TV or radio.
But Klink, so far naman you never had those pa. You never encountered pa like you had to do an or issue an erratum. Like
Well,
for not for but especially for controversial matters.
well, fortunately, I don't recall anything that's controversial, but we're only human at Manila Times.
Yes.
Even our best efforts sometimes fall short. Pero the thing is, we try to keep at it every day. The hard thing is that because fake news is something that's deliberate, there's always someone out there trying to sway public opinion, or maybe tarnish someone's reputation, or do
Right.
something right to sway public opinion in a wrong way. And it's really incumbent on professional journalists to try to sift through that and just try to report what's fact and what's truthful.
Right. And some pa, they go to the extent of like pretending to be the official website,
Oh
no,
yeah.
or social media pages of even, but so far wala. So like Manila Times, what's your official website para they know, and your official like Facebook page?
Yeah, thanks. Our website is www.manilatimes.net.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but there is someone else squatting on a .com URL.
Oh
But
no.
the .net is the one that's ours. And fortunately, our social platforms on Facebook and Twitter have been verified, so they all go by the name the Manila Times. Of course, we're
All
also on
right.
Viber and LinkedIn and others. But Facebook and Twitter are the ones that I know that have this verification process, and we're verified.
Okay. So yan, mga viewers, take note ha. It is manilatimes.net, not .com. So if you receive messages from manilatimes.com, that's fake. That's not them. That's pretending to be the Manila Times. Okay, Klink, you're journalists as frontliners. Di ba now, even if they impose para mga strict lockdown measures, journalists now are considered frontliners, right? They're given permits or automatic permission to go around
Yeah,
for as
well,
long as they have the ID.
yeah. So when the lockdown was announced, we had to apply permits from the IATF. This is the Interagency Task Force in Malacanang. So we were fortunate naman to be given IDs, but there are just some members of our staff who just live too far away. Some of them in Cavite and in Rizal, who was just going to be so inconvenienced going to Intramuros just to report. So we decided that some
Mm-hmm.
people, besides those who were older and who had pre-existing conditions, there were other people we've identified should be working from simply because of geographical reasons. But unfortunately, I'm not one of those. I still go to work on weekends because we were working with a skeletal, with a reduced
Mm-hmm.
staff. So I had to actually
Okay.
put on my journalist hat, and for 2 days a week, I still, you know, close the paper like I used to when I was younger.
Wow. But for sure, like almost every day you do mga virtual meetings. It's so easy now with the
Oh yeah,
technology.
yeah. It's constant actually, because even after we put the paper to bed, our
Mm-hmm.
reporters are still gathering information. And as you know, the president has a habit of having press conferences, at 12 midnight or 1 a.m., which means that a reporter has to be there to at least listen. And then, of course, our IT people, they have to upload it and stream it live on our website and social media platforms. So it's really constant. It's a constant effort, really, just to report the news.
No, I'm really gonna ask you about that, the mga late night conferences of the president. In terms of rating or the number of viewers, is it more successful ba? Like, or more advantageous to do it late night or compared to earlier time slot? What's your personal take on that from a media and a PR standpoint?
I think if you're looking for an audience, you need to have prime time scheduling for those messages. But
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there are other things that come into play, such as the data coming in, or the how full the agenda is in their task force meetings. I wouldn't know because I'm an outsider, but for us, we decided to report it anyway because because of the internet, we're actually reporting to a global audience rather than just to a Filipino audience with print.
Okay. But so what time do you print ba? Like, of course,
Well,
kasi 'di ba you have to get this to ano, oo. For what time do you, for the print media?
before the lockdown, we had to be finished by 9:30 if we want to make deliveries to um, northern Luzon and the Bicol
Okay.
region, and then we
All
could
right.
wait until 12 midnight to finish the paper for Visayas and Mindanao because of the flight schedules. And then if we really have to push it, and there's something important, then we can do something even a little bit later than that. But it would have to be only for a Metro Manila delivery or circulation.
Mm, okay. All right. So now talaga parang madaling araw you're printing. If there's
Oh,
especially kung may mga late night conferences, no? Pero the midnight, I know parang prior to ECQ, most newspapers, 'di ba? Parang that's their deadliest deadline talaga. It's printing na by midnight, no?
yeah. Well,
To meet the yeah.
if the president has a press conference at midnight, there no
Yeah.
newspaper can carry it. So it will have to be in the
Oh.
following day's newspaper. But it will be reported in our case and in other newspapers. It'll be reported as breaking news on the website and social
All
media
right.
and
All right.
carried live. I mean, the video will be live.
All right. So there's no way it can come out sa print media.
No,
So
there's
two
no
days
way
after na. All right. I thought
logistically. It's
hinahabol na yon. All right. Okay. So Klink, what are your future plans for the Manila Times post ECQ?
Well, it's a little bit murky right now. I think as probably the case with other businesses. Right now, we have this momentum going that we need to report the news every day. But
Mm-hmm.
after the lockdown is lifted, I think we have to assess how bad the damage is, and I have a feeling that the damage is going to be substantial after this quarantine period. We'll still be around, but I think it's really difficult to make plans right now, given the fact that we
But
don't know.
because Klink, prior to this global pandemic, 'di ba, it's been an ongoing, parang for the longest time, it's really the challenge for newspaper companies
Mm,
because nga of the digital platform, 'di ba?
mm.
Tapos ito na nga with this ECQ, can you paint us the a picture of the parang what's the future like for newspaper publishing companies in general?
Well, I think what's going to happen, and this is what we're trying to look at in the Manila Times, is to maybe have segmentation going on. So under one brand, which will be the Manila Times, we'll have different
Okay.
types of content. Of course, we're approaching this from our understanding, and that is that there's a certain age group or readership profile for those in print, a separate readership profile for those on digital, separate readership profile for those on social media. We all, of course, want to hit all of these different segments, but I think in moving forward, we'll have to tailor our content according to the preferences of each of those segments.
But now, at least we're talking for the next 5 years. You don't see naman, not just the Manila Times, but
Mm.
the major national broadsheets. Wala naman. You don't see parang closing down or wala na eliminate na, disappear na all newspapers. Because I know a lot of mga magazines, the glossies, most of them, majority, they're now
Yeah,
online na.
on
So
digital.
for
Yeah.
national broadsheets, yeah.
Well, it's hard. That's hard to say. For one, I'm not privy to the strategic meetings of my competitors, but I've been hearing that a lot of them are also considering going only, purely digital. But
Oh, yes.
there are other papers that I think that are looking for other best practices worldwide to see if there's room for print. But I think certainly all of them, all of us now, I mean, all of the papers now have websites, have social media. Many of us have digital editions, although I think ours is better. But that's my bias.
For sure.
Well, it's a little,
But yeah.
but
Pero
yeah,
Klink,
but
let's not get it. Go
I
ahead.
don't think print will disappear. I think
All
what
right.
will I think what will happen is that print will have a different type of content than the digital platform.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are still I think evolving preferences that may be too early to take account of, but certainly I don't think that we will lose space for print, much like you don't lose space for books these days. There's a lot of digital books out there, but for certain
Right.
segments of books and categories, books are still uh, preferred over the digital versions of
Exactly.
those products. Yeah.
Me personally, that's my preference also. That's why I hope we don't see parang I hope yung even if they parang newspaper will be a thing of the past. I wish we don't see that happening for the next 5 years at least, because I
No,
still like reading, especially
yeah, I don't think so. I think what will happen is
yeah.
that there will be more, I think, blurring of the lines between newspapers and TV. So I think
All
moving
right.
forward in the next 5 years, I think it will be less clear to people which is a TV network and which is a newspaper publisher, because both of them will offer video. Even I think TV networks will
Right.
offer print. So
Right.
I think it's going to be exciting, but at the same time, very challenging for many companies.
Right. So let's campaign for advertisers. You need advertisers to keep the newsprint diba? Going. We don't want it to die. So people, please, advertise to the Manila Times
Thank
para
you.
the paper will not disappear. Diba?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't want,
should.
like, I want my son to also read newspapers. Iba, masisira yung eyes kung puro computer lang, kung it's all digital.
Well, I think if I can predict anything, I think I can predict that when your son starts his newspaper reading
Uh-huh.
habit, I don't think it will be in print. I think he'll be reading it on his cell phone or some other gadget.
No,
Um,
now he's reading newspapers kasi we have subscriptions of different
oh,
newspapers. Kaya nga di ba parang
okay.
sad, kunyari yung eto na new generation and then no more newspaper, everything gadget. It's so let's advertise people, the Manila Times. Let's advertise.
Thanks, Shelly.
Klink, what will be your advice naman for mga young campus journalists who want to work for a broadsheet? Like you have openings, but what are your job openings now? What are the
Well,
opportunities for them?
we have this weekly section that's open to campus
Uh-huh.
journalists. It's called
Uh-huh.
Campus Press, and we really encourage students to
Oh, okay.
to submit their works, um,
Okay.
news, features, photos, even editorial cartoons, if they wish to. I think it's important for them to just keep at it, keep writing. I know when I was a student, that was very helpful to me, just to keep
Uh-huh.
trying, keep practicing, and it was encouraging to me back then, 30, 40 pounds ago, that some paper carried my byline, and that's something we want to offer to young journalists nowadays, and the future generations.
So once their work gets published, do they get paid for that na? Even if they are not working for you pa?
Yeah, we try to have a small honorarium just to
Okay, all right.
just to reward the efforts.
But you have job openings pa rin. Kanyari, they okay na, they can apply.
Well, right now,
Or,
I think we're in a similar boat as all businesses right now. I think we're going to
all
be
right.
reviewing our hiring situation after the lockdown is lifted. I'm still hoping that we can retain as many people as we can. But I think most businesses these days, because of the quarantine, they're going to be looking at trying to reduce the workforce. I hope that doesn't happen. The government does have a lot of amelioration programs to prevent that from happening, but that's a reality that we have to look at after the quarantine.
So, Klink yan, for mga aspiring journalists like that, if they have mga articles or anything that they can contribute, even for us, for example, me, I have parang interesting piece of information. Where can I send it if I want Manila Times to publish it?
And just send it to me. Actually, no, naan ako ng Net 25 eh. So,
Oh,
mas mabilis sila sa amin kaysa sa kumilos eh. Dapat tayo mag-usap. But
okay,
seriously,
so,
they can send it to me, or they can send it to we
alright,
have an email address for the public on our website that they can send content to.
alright. Sige. So guys, yung mga viewers natin, if you have mga ganyan, piece of information or you want Manila Times to publish your work, you can send it to me. I'll make sure to forward it to the Manila Times, care of
Thank you, Shelly.
Dante Ang. Okay, Klink, let's talk about your CSR projects naman. For sure, ang dami. I know you don't want to talk about, kasi I know a lot of people, kasama ka dyan, you don't want to talk about mga relief operations, ganyan, but you have plenty. But yun nga, I want lang viewers kasi also we want to commend all companies who are like you, yung the mere fact that you're out there, 'di ba? Your people are out there risking their lives, 'di ba? They can get the infection, everything. That's a huge help already to the
Mm.
country, 'di ba? Pero yun nga, pero wag na, no, baka confidential. You will not tell me naman the donations you made to the government or to the other foundations. You wanna keep it confidential? Confi
hindi,
na lang. O,
hindi
confi.
naman.
Bas, oo. Oo. So, anything you want to share or baka you have current mga fundraising campaigns now to also help during this COVID situation? Any projects that you want them to know
Uh,
about?
right now, I think there's a number of fundraising campaigns being done. I think ABS and GMA have been doing quite well
Right.
with their
Right.
fundraising. I think it's better that I think all of us support just a few of these fundraising efforts now rather than dispersing our help to organizations. And for Manila Times, I think we do have our own CSR projects. We try to do what we can. We're not a big organization like some of our competitors, pero we try to stick to what we can do well. And something that those things have been continuing for many years now, and we intend to continue that even after the lockdown.
Klink, I forgot to ask you kanina when we were discussing about your employees who are frontliners. What do you do to protect them? How do you
Well,
like to yeah, from the virus? Like yung do you provide them with ano ba yan? Out talagang PPE. Anong itsura nila when they're out there?
hindi naman sila naka-hazmat, because they have to move or
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to move around, but they do have masks and
Okay.
alcohol supply. But I think the more important thing that we did is we tried to supply yung transportation for them, especially
Okay.
so that at least they're spared from taking public transport where they can be exposed to other people, especially those who are reporting to the office. Um,
Okay.
so we want to make sure that they arrive safely and as conveniently as possible, given all of the checkpoints and all of the other things we have to go through.
Right. So they have shuttle services. You pick them up ba from their
We
houses and then bring
we
them back home?
they're designated pickup places, and in some cases some people are picked up from home.
Okay. Ayan, very good. Lalo na now, kasi even if people, 'di ba, are willing to work, yung public transportation, that's really very challenging.
Yeah, well, right
Click,
now it's
inspiring messages to our kababayans. First muna to your viewers. We may have plenty of your, sorry, readers that are who are watching right now. What do you want to tell them?
well, first I want to thank all of them for continuing to read the Manila Times. Sometimes what they read is not so pleasant, but those are the facts, and I think we just have to be aware of the things that are happening in the world, so that we can map out our own lives. So thank you very much for all of that. But I tell our people that all things pass. I mean, this crisis will pass eventually, and in the meantime, we just have to hunker down and just do what we can. Laban
So to
lang.
all, so that's your message na rin to all Filipinos
I
in
think yeah,
general.
I think we have to help others as much as we can. Of course, for companies, we start with our own employees, but and we see a lot of evidence amount of people trying to do other things. Rotarians have been very good also in trying to mobilize uh, support for other people despite all of the limitations on of movements and. I think we need more of that. And I think after the quarantine is lifted, when we see how big the economic cost of all of these things that we've been doing to prevent the
Mm-hmm.
quarantine, the spread of COVID has been. But once that becomes clear, I think a lot of work will need to be done.
Okay. Thanks, Klink. Ah. Okay, thanks for that message. And thank you also for giving us time this afternoon. I'm overtime again. This is supposed to be a 30-minute show. Kaya nga it's express. My production team, they're making me pagalit all the time because wala nang manonood na regular TV program because I'm not making it express anymore. But if you're talking to someone as yun nga ikaw, like interesting, as you as knowledgeable, 'di ba? 30 minutes, it's never enough. Wala kang mapag-uusapan in 30 minutes. But Klink, we'll continue this discussion. I hope I can invite you to guest naman to go to my studio for my regular TV talk show on Network
Sure,
5 as soon as ECQ is lifted and it's already safe to resume
it'll be
taping. I'll
it'll be
send you
my
an
pleasure.
invitation. Yeah,
It'll
for
be
the
my
full
pleasure.
episode. So again, thank you for your time and thank you for the contribution of the Manila Times to our current situation now. We are praying for you and especially the safety of your employees who are frontliners.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you for
So
having me on your
thanks.
program.
So I'll see you soon, okay? I hope when the ECQ is lifted, we have time to catch up in
I,
person.
yeah, that would be nice.
Okay.
Congratulations on your show.
Yeah. Thanks, Klink. I'll see you soon. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye. So, okay, mga lovies, I hope it's another afternoon well spent for you. Thank you for joining me again. As I've said, please let us support the Manila Times also so they can continue helping and supporting us in terms of keeping us informed on what's happening out there and delivering to us all the latest news and information. So thank you again to my fellow Rotarian Klink Ang for being with us this afternoon. Before I end, let's say happy birthday to, not happy birthday, happy Earth Day. It's Earth Day today. Parang I don't see mga posts and messages about Earth Day na tabunan na ni kontrabidang coronavirus. So happy Earth Day mga lovies. I want to share lang something very quickly. Kasi last week, my son, my 7-year-old son, Aiden, sent me a message while I was doing the FB Live with Dr. Hayden ko. And we were there. I don't know if you can read that. We were discussing about COVID, the virus. So he sent me this. So he sent me stickers, mga earth symbols, and then he had a note saying that I wish that people took care of the earth better so there is no coronavirus. So, diba? And then I asked him what he meant by that. I asked him what it has to do with the virus itself. And he just told me something about the surrounding. Like if our surroundings are clean, if there's no pollution, then we will have no healthy lungs. Because he's been reading, he's been hearing that people with mga lung conditions or lung problems are having a difficult time fighting off the virus once they contract it. Of course, I did not tell him anymore about people who are smokers, cigarette who are smoking all the time. I did not tell him that anymore. But again, that's of course there is no direct correlation to the virus, but still he's 7. Um and I think I know what he means exactly or where he's getting at. So I'll leave you with that thought and reflection about taking care of our planet. Then baka nga yon, that's the root cause of this global pandemic now. So again, thank you. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Tomorrow is as exciting as today and our previous episodes. Tomorrow, I invited another fellow Rotarian, Mr. Bobby Castro. He's the owner of Palawan Pawn Shop Group. So it's a big company, and I think now especially his Palawan, the many branches of Palawan Express, very critical now the role that they play with this ECQ. A lot of people are using their services now. So we will hear it from the owner himself, Mr. Bobby Castro, tomorrow at 4 p.m. how they're coping with this demand and what they're doing also to help the communities in a time of crisis. So thanks again for joining again. Please support my regular talk show on at 25. It's gonna air very soon. It will be every Saturday, 10 a.m. We will have celebrity guests, mga athlete guests, ganyan. The format of the show, it's lifestyle, magazine, entertainment, but there's a huge advocacy component. Watch out for that. Please like and follow our Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram so you'll get notifications and updates as to when we're gonna air already. So meantime, I will be with you for the duration of the ECQ, and yeah, I'll let you in on my private conversations with people I personally know who are doing significant things during this global pandemic. Okay, guys. So I'll see you again. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.